Today's lesson is number 90, which is a review of lessons 79 and 80, which are let me recognize the problem so it can be solved, and let me recognize my problems have been solved. The Course in Miracles is based on metaphysical philosophy, which is very difficult and challenging for people to grasp. Many people tell me, and I myself have experienced, that the ideas sometimes seem so esoteric and philosophical that they're hard to understand, and yet when you take the time to unpack them a bit or deconstruct them, they're so rich that it's well worth the effort. So I know some of these lessons that I'm posting on the blog and the commentaries are difficult for people to grasp, and I appreciate your patience and persistence in hanging in there. So the review of today's lessons can be challenging. So the first lesson was 79, which is let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. In A Course in Miracles, the problem could be described as our being on the path of the ego. And the ego basically is based on two dynamics: give to get, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, and one or the other. We both can't be right. We both can't win. One of us has got to be a winner. The other's got to be a loser. And as Ronald Reagan said when he was president, the best defense is a good offense. And get them before they get you, which we see played out now in our national politics big time, that the way to win is to attack the other, however we define the other. And it injects fear and animosity and anger at the national level right on down. So, this idea of not recognizing what the problem is, which is really one based on conditional love. The way I describe it is we basically have a choice of conditional love or unconditional love. How do we want to live our lives? How do we want to conduct ourselves and interact with other people? And what's the basis of the way we see ourselves and see the world that we're living in? So, the idea that human dynamics are based on conditional love. I'll love you if you do this or you do that, and I won't love you if you don't do this or don't do that, leads to a sense of victimization, and often of being afraid of winding up on the short end of the stick. And even if we win this time, we can always lose next time. So the problem is never resolved. It's always there. We're always vulnerable in some way, which is born out of a fear of defectiveness and inadequacy, and that life is a competition. And so unless we recognize the problem, we can never get it solved. And the problem, according to the Course, is our metaphysical thinking that the world is a competition, that it's based on conditional love. Now, Universalists, part of our tradition, have a very opposite metaphysical position, and that is that we are loved unconditionally. There are no winners or losers. We're all winners, which is our natural inheritance because of our inherent worth and dignity. And once you kind of come to understand that the way we view ourselves and view our place in the world and our relationship with others should be based on unconditional love, a non-judgmental attitude, instead of conditional love, our lives change and our relationships with others change. And it is that experience of a change that occurs that gives us peace and joy, that the Course calls the miracle. We have shifted from the path of conditional love to unconditional love, and that brings about a healing. So today, let me not only recognize that all my problems can be solved, but that the problems themselves are illusions and idols that I have created, thinking that I and not God is in charge. And I have tried to control things based on the premise of conditional love. Me or you, one or the other. There's winners and losers. My happiness depends on my becoming a winner. And hopefully that means that you're the loser, not me. And so this is hidden from us sometimes. We try to be polite and courteous and have the pretense of getting along with other people and cooperating and all that kind of stuff. But unless we change our underlying premise about the way we view ourselves and view the world, those are just cosmetic tweaks. It doesn't really change our sense of who we are and what we're doing here in the world. So we need to not only become aware of what the problem is, and that is which path we're walking. Are we walking the path of the ego or the path of the spirit? But also to make the choice of which path we want to walk. And we realize that if we shift our metaphysical philosophy from conditional love to unconditional love, that not only have our problems been solved, but that they never really existed. That's the way it's always been. God's unconditional love for us has always been there. We've just been unaware of it because of the egotistic thinking that we have created, thinking that we're in charge, not God's in charge, and that we've constructed this world of winners and losers where winners triumph at the expense of people that have been victimized. So today, let's recognize that the problem can be solved, not in the external world, but in our inner understanding of who we are and how we should relate to the world around us. Thanks for listening. Leave a comment. I'd love to know what you think about these ideas. Be well. Stay well.